I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share with you explains something that millions of women over 40 are living through right now, and almost no one is talking about it honestly. My name is Dr. Eleanor Whitaker. I'm a women's health physician, and for the past 22 years, I've dedicated my practice to one of the most misunderstood problems in medicine: why women over 40 gain weight without explanation, and why everything they try to lose, it stops working. Before I go any further, I want to ask you something. Something I want you to sit with for just a moment. Have you ever done everything right: the clean eating, the exercise, the willpower, the sacrifice, and still watched the scale go up? Still felt your clothes getting tighter? Still looked in the mirror and barely recognized the body looking back at you? If the answer is yes, this video is for you. And I want you to hear this clearly before anything else. It is not your fault. I have sat across from thousands of women in my clinic, women who were exhausted, not just physically, but deep in their bones, emotionally. Women who had tried every program on the market. Women who were eating less than they ever had in their lives and still gaining weight. Women who skipped meals, gave up wine, dragged themselves to the gym 5 days a week, and still couldn't fit into the jeans they were 3 years ago. And every single one of them said the same thing. I don't understand. I'm doing everything right. Why won't my body respond anymore? Here is what I told them, and what I am about to tell you. Your body didn't stop working. It changed, and no one gave you the manual. Around the age of 35 to 40, something begins to shift deep inside a woman's body. It starts slowly, almost invisibly. A little more fatigue here, a little more bloating there, clothes that feel slightly tighter even though you haven't changed a single thing. And then, usually sometime in the mid to late 40s, it accelerates. The belly grows. The energy drops. Sleep becomes broken and unrefreshing. And the metabolism, the invisible engine that once burned fat quietly and consistently day and night, begins to slow in ways that calorie cutting simply cannot fix. Ways that no amount of willpower can touch. This isn't weakness. This isn't aging gone wrong. This is biology. And the force driving it has a name: hormones. Hormones don't just affect how you feel. They control how your body stores and burns fat. They determine whether your cells use the food you eat for energy or lock it away as abdominal fat. They regulate your hunger signals, your energy production, the depth of your sleep, your insulin response, your inflammation levels, everything. And when they begin to decline, the entire metabolic system shifts with them. Here's what most doctors fail to explain clearly enough, and what I believe every woman deserves to understand about her own body. Estrogen, one of your primary female hormones, acts as a metabolic protector. It helps your body use insulin efficiently. It keeps fat distributed evenly across the body. It supports lean muscle retention. It keeps inflammation low. But when estrogen begins to decline, which starts in perimenopause, often years before the final period, your cells start responding to insulin very differently. Instead of converting glucose into energy, your body increasingly stores it. And where does it store it? Exactly where you've already noticed: the abdomen, the lower back, the hips, places where fat never settled before. This is called hormonal insulin resistance. And it is the single most common and most undiagnosed reason why women over 40 cannot lose weight even on a perfect diet. Think about what that means. You cut your calories. You eat more vegetables. You eliminate sugar. You track every meal. But your insulin is still spiking, not because of what you ate, but because your body's internal hormonal environment has shifted so dramatically that the entire metabolic response has changed. The rules you played by at 32 no longer apply at 48. And no one told you that. Progesterone, the hormone that balances estrogen, promotes calm, and supports deep restorative sleep, also declines sharply after 40. And without it, your body enters a low-grade state of internal hormonal stress. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, rises to fill the gap. And cortisol, when chronically elevated, is one of the most powerful fat storage signals in human biology. It tells your cells, hold on to everything. Don't release fat. We are under threat. Here's the part that surprises most of my patients. You may not feel particularly stressed. You might be sleeping 8 hours. You might be walking in the morning, eating clean, doing everything the wellness world tells you to do. But on a cellular level, your hormonal system is sending constant distress signals. And your metabolism is responding to those signals, not to your effort, not to your discipline, not to the number on your fitness tracker. And here's the cruel irony that I've watched devastate so many women. The very habits they believe are helping them lose weight, maybe making it worse. Chronic, high-intensity exercise. It spikes cortisol. Aggressive calorie restriction. It spikes cortisol. Broken sleep from hormonal night sweats. Cortisol. Skipping meals to be disciplined. Cortisol again. Every time cortisol rises, your body tightens its grip on fat stores, particularly abdominal fat, which has a higher concentration of cortisol receptors than fat anywhere else on the body. And then there's the thyroid. Your thyroid is your metabolic command center. It produces hormones that control the speed at which every cell in your body burns fuel. In younger women, it works efficiently, quietly keeping the metabolism active and responsive. But after menopause, many women develop what I call subclinical thyroid slowdown. The thyroid is technically within normal lab ranges, but functioning at the very bottom of that range. Just enough to pass a test, not enough to keep the metabolism running at the pace your body needs to stay lean. The result is persistent fatigue, cold hands and feet, hair thinning, brain fog, and weight that does not move, no matter how little you eat, no matter how much you push yourself. Sound familiar? I want to pause here because I want to say something I believe is essential. If you have been blaming yourself for not losing weight, stop. Right now. You did not fail the diet. The diet failed you because it was never designed for your body's current hormonal reality. You've been handed tools built for a 28-year-old's metabolism and told to use them on a body that has gone through 30 years of profound hormonal change. Of course, they don't work. That is not a reflection of your discipline or your character. It is a reflection of how badly women's hormonal health has been misunderstood, and how little the weight loss industry has bothered to catch up. This is the moment where most women in my practice finally exhale, because they realize they are not broken. Their body is not broken. It has shifted into a phase that requires completely different support, and the solution is not more restriction, not more punishment, not more willpower. The solution is understanding what your body actually needs in the hormonal phase it is actually in. So let me share what I have seen work across thousands of patients, years of clinical experience, and a growing body of research specifically focused on women's hormonal metabolism after menopause. There are 6 interconnected shifts that determine whether a woman's body after menopause holds onto fat or begins to release it, and almost no conventional diet program addresses even 2 of them. The first is blood sugar stabilization, not eliminating carbohydrates, but restructuring the hormonal signal your meals send. When you eat protein and fiber before refined carbohydrates, you flatten the insulin spike dramatically. You reduce fat storage signaling, and over time, you begin to rebuild insulin sensitivity, which is the foundational step to unlocking fat burning after menopause. Without this foundation, nothing else works the way it should. The second is cortisol management, and this goes far beyond what most people think of as stress reduction. Cortisol is triggered by psychological stress, yes, but also by sleep deprivation, by extreme calorie restriction, by prolonged high-intensity exercise, by skipping meals, by chronically undereating protein. Many women in menopause are unknowingly spiking their cortisol through the very habits they believe are helping them. Until cortisol is addressed, abdominal fat will not shift. The third is gut health. Your gut microbiome plays a direct role in how your body metabolizes and clears estrogen. There is a collection of gut bacteria called the estrobolome, and when it is functioning properly, it helps regulate how estrogen is processed and eliminated. When it is disrupted by years of processed food, antibiotics, or chronic stress, it creates a secondary hormonal imbalance that compounds every effect of menopause. Healing the gut is not optional. It is foundational. The fourth is sleep quality. Not just how many hours, but the depth of the sleep you are getting. Growth hormone, which is essential for fat burning and muscle preservation, is released almost entirely during deep sleep. As progesterone declines in menopause, reaching and sustaining deep sleep becomes progressively harder. Women wake at 2 in the morning, lie awake for hours, surface into light, fragmented sleep, and wonder why their metabolism feels completely frozen. Growth hormone cannot do its job if sleep is broken, and the metabolism reflects that every single day. The fifth is muscle preservation. This is non-negotiable after menopause. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. It burns calories even at rest. After 40, without specific resistance training and adequate protein, women lose muscle at an accelerating rate. Every pound of muscle lost lowers the resting metabolic rate. This is why women in their 50s often eat less than ever before and still gain weight. The engine has lost its fuel. Even modest muscle recovery changes the entire fat-burning equation. The sixth is cellular detoxification, specifically supporting the liver's ability to process and eliminate excess hormones. When the liver is overburdened by alcohol, medications, processed food, or ongoing toxin exposure, estrogen metabolites are not properly cleared. They recirculate. They bind to receptors. They contribute to bloating, water retention, mood disruption, and stubborn weight that refuses to move. Supporting liver function restores the body's own internal clearing system, and it changes how the body holds and releases weight in a way most women have never experienced before. 6 shifts, 6 interconnected systems, and most weight loss programs address none of them. This is why women feel so confused. This is why you can follow a program perfectly, track every meal, never miss a workout, and still see no results. Because the program wasn't built for your biology, not the biology you have now. I want to tell you what I have watched happen when women begin to address these 6 systems together, not in isolation, not one at a time, but as a connected whole. Women who had not lost a single pound in 3 years began to see consistent, steady movement within weeks. Inflammation markers going down, sleep deepening for the first time in years, abdominal fat beginning to shift, energy returning in the morning without caffeine, clothes with room in them again, not because they punished themselves harder, because they finally gave their body what it had been asking for. I had a patient, 51 years old, for years post-menopause, who told me she had accepted that this was simply her body now. She had given up. She came to see me out of habit more than hope. Within 8 weeks of addressing her cortisol pattern, rebuilding her gut microbiome, and shifting the hormonal signaling in her metabolism, she had lost 11 pounds. But what she said to me was more important than the number. I feel like myself again. I didn't even realize how far I had drifted until I came back. That is what I want for you. Not just a number on a scale. A body that works with you again. Energy that shows up in the morning. Clothes that fit. A reflection in the mirror that matches how you actually feel inside. Over the years, I've worked with many women who needed more than lifestyle shifts alone, who needed targeted natural support to help their metabolism begin to move while the deeper changes were taking hold. a way to give the body the specific signals it needed to start responding again. What I have seen make the most consistent difference is an approach that addresses insulin sensitivity, cortisol balance, and metabolic activation together as a system. When women combine this kind of targeted natural support with the 6 shifts I've described, the results are different. Real, measurable, consistent change. The kind that feels sustainable because the body is finally receiving what it was missing. If you feel like your body simply is not responding anymore, take a look at the link below this video. What you'll find there has been helping thousands of women in exactly your situation finally begin to move again. I want you to ask yourself one thing before you close this video. Where will you be in 12 months if nothing changes? If the belly continues to grow? If the energy continues to drop? If you wake up one more year from now feeling exactly the way you feel today, or further from yourself than you already are? Because I've seen both paths. I've watched women who addressed their hormonal reality directly, who gave their metabolism the support it actually needed, transform completely, not through punishment, through understanding. And I've watched women who waited, who told themselves they would start after the holidays, after summer, when things calmed down. And a year later, 2 years later, it was harder. The window had narrowed. The body had adapted more deeply to its slower state. The longer this goes unaddressed, the more the body adapts. The more entrenched the insulin resistance becomes. The more established the inflammation. And reversing it takes more time and more support the longer it has been in place. I don't say this to frighten you. I say it because it is true and because you deserve to know it. You are watching this video right now, which tells me something. It tells me part of you already knows something needs to change. Your body has been telling you that for a while, not through failure, but through signals. The belly that won't shrink, the energy that won't return, the scale that won't move. Those are not signs that your body has given up. They are signs that it needs something different. Your body is not done. It is waiting for the right signal. The link below this video and in the first comment leads to a natural method that has been helping thousands of women over 40 finally break through the hormonal weight loss block. Women who were exactly where you are right now, frustrated, exhausted, done trying things that don't work. And then something shifted because for the first time, they were addressing the right problem. Go take a look. See if it speaks to what you've been experiencing. Because if it does, your metabolism may be far more ready to respond than you think. I'm Dr. Eleanor Whitaker. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. Take care of yourself. Your body has carried you this far, and it deserves to be understood.